Hello, folks. Today we're going to cover Claude Cowork. So, for those who are not aware, Claude or Anthropic recently launched Claude Cowork, which is a new feature focused on non-technical users. And in this video, I'll walk you through what Claude Cowork can do. How was it originally thought of? How was it developed by Anthropic? And also a bit about its limitations and how would I use it in my day-to-day operations. But before we jump in, let me just introduce myself. I'm Jaskaran. I'm one of the co-founders of Eightgen AI. We are a services and consulting company focused on developing AI-based solutions. So if you go through the official blog post of Claude Cowork, you would see that there's a lot of reference to Claude Code, which they normally made for developers. But what they realized was a lot of non-technical people were using it for their day-to-day workflow as well, as in building basic applications, which they then could use in their day-to-day work. So that really gave them the idea that should they make something which is focused on non-technical users, and this is where Claude Cowork comes into the picture. So the use cases that they've talked about is reading documents in your laptop or in places where you have access to. So, for example, I think one of the examples they gave was reading through meeting transcripts to come out with key action points, and also then syncing that with your Google Calendar or your calendar to set up meetings with people. So I think interesting use case that they've talked about. Another use case that they spoke about was organizing all the files on your computer. So imagine you have so many screenshots, so many files. You really, over the course of time, you keep accumulating these files. So how do you organize them? Again, not a very high priority task for a lot of people, but Claude Cowork could actually go in your folders and change and edit these files and delete these files. So think about taking your AI chat outside the chat window and actually performing actions. So this is where the transformation is happening, where you're moving from a chat-based AI world where you're just where previously you were copying pasting things from, let's say, ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, to an actual agent-based chat world where you tell Claude to do an action and it does an action on your behalf. So really, this kind of is a very big transformation in terms of workflows, especially for non-technical people who do not really mess around outside the chat GPT or Claude world, where they just have a chat window where they normally write what they need in terms of a prompt and then get an output. So definitely a big game changer. But let's see how the first version of this is. So again, feel free to read through the blog from Claude. I think they have a few interesting things. Another interesting thing that we've discovered is Felix Riesberg, who's the head of engineering at Anthropic. He tweeted out that Claude Cowork was actually built using Claude Code. So it took them, I think, a couple of weeks to build this, but that's really the beauty of AI. Now you're getting to build AI solutions which we use at such a massive scale using that AI solution itself. So, again, something that is transformational in terms of the speed at which this was developed as well as how it was developed. So, exciting times ahead. Now, let's see where, let's do a quick test of how we can use Claude Code. So where exactly can you see Claude Cowork? So if you have Claude installed on your Mac, now you can see three tabs. One is Chat, Code, and Cowork. So Cowork is a new tab that was recently introduced. We had Chat and Code earlier. Now just a caveat. Now Claude Cowork is only live for users on the Mac OS application. It can only be accessed by people who are on the Max plan. So if you don't see it, do not worry. It's still in a preview stage where it's only accessible to people on the Max plan on Mac OS. So if you're on Windows or if you're not on the Max plan, you might get access to it later. But if I go through the Cowork functionality, this is what you normally see as soon as you open it. It has a few things like create a file, crunch data, make prototype, organize files, prep for a meeting, draft messages. So the transformational thing here is it can actually make changes in the files directly instead of giving you something to copy paste on a file or giving you action points which you need to take further actions on. It can take the actions themselves. So really a move from chat to agentic, which is what the intention for this was, so that non-technical people don't really need to code or create their own agentic flows using Claude Code. They can directly come to Claude Cowork and do a lot of stuff they want to do, but don't have the technical capability or the understanding to do using Claude Code or any other coding or AI coding tool. So let's see and test this out. So one thing that I wanted to do was clean up a few files that I had. So let me show you. I have a folder called Claude Cowork Test, and in this folder, I've just kept two files. One of the files is a photo of a car. So uh, basically, what I want to test here is, can I give Claude Cowork access to my files and let it take actions on them? So let's go back to Claude Code. Let's see if my rate limit has been reset and ask it, can you delete the photo of the car in the folder called Claude Cowork Test? And let's see what it does. So ideally it should, okay, so it says I don't have access to your files, permanent deletions are prohibited. What you can do, delete the files if you need help finding it. So not really that helpful. I had thought this will have access to my files, but let's see. I think it you probably need to also connect it to your desktop. So again, let's see where I have connected this. So okay, this is connected to my Google Drive, GitHub, Canva, Claude and Chrome is also there. So not really that useful when it comes to files on your local computer. Or maybe I need to figure out what's the best way to do that. It does have desktop extension, so probably what I'll need is file system. So let's install this and see if we can do the same thing. So okay. So now in this one I need to configure which directories I can give Claude access to. So let me give it access to this particular folder, Claude Cowork Test. Okay, so let me also enable it so that it still works, and then let me close it. So yeah, it says it has access to my file system, local dev. That's good. That's probably good. So let me try this again. Can you delete the photo of the car in the folder Claude Code Test? And again, like this is a very trivial example of one photo that I want to delete, but imagine if you have thousands of such photos or some workflow where you need to do some repetitive task which needs a lot of effort or will take a lot of time, although it might be very simple. Like this is a perfect use case where you can leverage Claude Cowork. So let me see what it says. I don't have access to any folders on your computer. Start a new task in Cowork mode. Select the folder that contains Claude Code Test, and I'll be able to delete. Okay. So let me see if I need to. Yeah, it's already connected to my files. So let me ask it. Do you have access to the folder Claude Code test. Okay, so now it's saying I only have access to uploads and outputs. Okay, so let's start a new task and then see and work in a folder. Okay. Okay, so allow code to change files in Claude Cowork test. So I need to give this access, and now let's see if you can do the task that I want to. Can you delete any images or photos of a car? So now it asks me for access. Let me allow it, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so now it's going to find if there's any images of cars in the folder. It found two images. It's reading two files. That's good. So the first one was a file around stocks. The second one was a screenshot. Okay, so it's correctly identified which screenshot or which image to delete. But it says I cannot permanently delete the file on your behalf. There's a safety protection, which is good. If you think about it, if somehow it gets access to important files and deletes them, that's not really good. But it just tells me that you can just go and delete it. So let's try something else. Let's ask it to rename the file. Can you rename the file? So it's confirming which file. I say yes. Okay, so it's asking me what name. Okay. Car image. So it's just given it a random name. But if you get the point that it does need a lot of back and forth, but it can actually take actions on your computer. So okay, so it got to issue the special characters in the file name. So I think the only special character was the underscore. So let me, which is like normally in a file name, there's shouldn't be a problem to have an underscore, but okay. So it says it's done. It's renamed the file to car underscore image.png, which is good, which is great. So let me check. Yeah, it's right. It has actually went changed the name. Now let me try another thing. Can you create a Google spreadsheet and populate it with the stocks and columns along with the data in the image of stocks. So there was another file in the folder. So let me just open this. So this is a file of stocks that I'm interested in. So it has the ticker, company, industry, a few things like what's the current market price, their market cap, etc. So what I want to do is convert this into a spreadsheet on Google Sheets or Excel, but I doubt it can do anything on Excel right now. But let's try with Google Sheets. Uh, so this is a screenshot. I Let me ask it whether it can convert it into a Google Sheet. Uh, okay, so it says it can create an Excel. Okay, let's do this. Let's sorry for the all caps. Let me now for Google Sheets, maybe there's an integration that's needed, but even if it comes up with an Excel file, I'll be more than happy. Let's see, base directory for the skill. So it's actually referring to a skill. So if you're not aware of Claude skills, again, a fantastic invention by Claude, which is more of a agent based flow. So what they're doing is they're leveraging skills that someone else might have made. Uh, so in this case, let's say made by someone with the username Fervent Gifted Ramanujan, or probably this is a folder name, but someone they're leveraging skills to convert things to an Excel sheet. So they have converted this into a spreadsheet. Let me see if I can open this file. Okay. So yeah, I think it's done the job. So it's created an Excel sheet for me. I can copy paste this into a Google Sheet or use the Excel sheet if I want to do in Excel. But I think the good part is it has taken an action outside the cloud window on my behalf, which is what really this whole feature is all about. Let's do another thing. Let's try to get it to set up a meeting. So can you schedule a meeting for tomorrow uh, between 9 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. to complete the Excel file for stocks. Use my Google Calendar. So now I've told it to use my Google Calendar. Again, it says I don't have access. Uh, if you have the Claude in Chrome extension enabled. So I think this is something which you need. You need the Claude Chrome extension. So let's say we go with option 2 because I'm too lazy to do the manual creation myself. I'll let Claude Cowork do it on my behalf. Okay, so I think yeah. So see, it's kind of opened up a Chrome window. It's trying to open up my calendar. So again, this is my calendar trying to figure out what I would do today in terms of uploading the video. Now it ideally should go to the next day's calendar, open it up, and create a calendar invite. So then the tricky part is that there's already a meeting set at 9 a.m. So will it move that meeting? Will it suggest an alternative? Let's see how this goes. Again, one more thing to consider, Claude Cowork is not the fastest tool. So given it is taking control of your browser on your behalf, it does take time to do take actions, because what it is doing, it is replicating a human, where it will click on things, it will type out things, it will find the CTA call to action, click on buttons, and then set up a meeting as you would. So I can set up a meeting probably in a few seconds. For Claude Code, it might take a few minutes because it is doing the actions, but in a very precise, calculated manner, because every action that it takes, it's new for them. So again, the preview of Claude Cowork, not very smooth, but you might see a lot of improvements going further down the line. So I think what Claude does really well is creates a basic version, launches it, gets feedback, and then launches the second or third version is actually very, very good. So again, I have very high expectations from this feature. But again, let's see what's happening in the background, if you can make more sense of what's happening. Oh, okay. So now this is interesting. It wants my input, but I did not get any notification. It says you already have a meeting at 9 to 9:30, which is good. It read the meeting that's already scheduled. It's asking me whether I need to create an event anyway or choose a different time. So let's just create another meeting. It's fine. We can be double booked on the calendar, but I actually want it to create the meeting on my behalf. So yeah, you have to be patient to use these AI tools. No one tells you these things on their YouTube videos or on their LinkedIn posts that this is what you did and this is what how the experience was. Very few people would actually tell you this. So we are more than happy to actually show you what it is in real life. Using AI tools, what are the problems, and how fast or efficient they are. So we did face a few problems, but again, something that we couldn't do probably before Claude Cowork was launched. We are able to do such things like take actions outside the chat window. So as you can see, it's actually finding out how to create a calendar invite on the go. It's saying I can see this create is highlighted. Let me click on the create button. So it's doing everything. So probably in a few days they might have a predefined flow of how to create a calendar invite on Google. Uh, Again, this is through an Chrome extension. They don't have access to your calendar directly. So they're doing it through a Chrome extension, and then that's why they're replicating more of a browser experience where they need to open a browser and click as replicate what a human does. So it's adding the titles again, taking its own sweet time to come up with this to complete this task. And that comes to the next part of this video where we'll talk about where you can actually use Claude Cowork. So I've shown you three examples. One was organizing files. Second was taking your screenshots and creating an Excel file, or modifying files like Excel or Google Docs or Word Docs, etc. The third is scheduling an invite or a calendar invite. Now, a lot of these tasks did take end up taking a lot of time. There was some back and forth. There were some decisions to be made, which it couldn't make itself. So your human intervention was needed. Uh, so I see some value in Claude Cowork. Whether I will personally use it, maybe not that much for now. But as the version improves, we'll definitely use it. So. Uh, yeah, I'm still waiting for this to complete. So hopefully it should complete before we end the video. But what I actually wanted to show you guys was this graph about if you have to look at the value of work that you end up doing. And this is mostly for non-technical users, but again, technical users can also think about this in their day-to-day work. So you have low value work and you have high value work. Low value work can be work which you normally don't end up using a lot of mental capacity or mental bandwidth for. High value work which is more strategic, which is more problem solving. And then across, if you look at the y-axis, it is the urgency of the work, whether the work needs to be done quickly or whether the work is non-critical. You can take your own sweet time. So you normally end up with these four quadrants. And where I would start using Claude Cowork is the bottom quadrant, which is low urgency work and low value work. So, work which you might not be doing because you don't have the time for and you don't see the importance. So, you can start delegating a lot of that work to Claude Cowork. Again, that means a lot of work on your files, a few things on organization, few follow-ups that you might be too lazy to complete. So a lot of this can be delegated to Claude Cowork, which normally, if you had money, you would hire a virtual assistant for, or you would hire people for, or you would go about doing this in only during times where you have some free bandwidth and nothing better to do, right? So this is where I see the value right now. But as they keep improving Claude, I do see this shifting towards the right and also towards the top right quadrant, which is critical work. So I think how soon we'll get there is again questionable. Maybe in a few months, maybe few days. We don't know. Like AI has been moving. AI, you every day you see new things coming out from Anthropic, from OpenAI, from Gemini, from Google. So you might see these developments happen much sooner than you expect them to. But uh, I see this as a transformational change just because now you're starting to move AI for non-technical people outside the chat window, which is what was kind of missing for the last few years. So this is where most of the value would be. Again, now let's see if Claude has created the calendar invite. Okay, so it says it's created the calendar invite. Let me check. Okay, so it says it just shows me the invite. So it's 9 a.m. to 9:30. I don't know. It doesn't say anything else apart from this. Oh, it's asking me, can I save this event to your calendar? Yes. So you see, there's a few snags here and there. It's asking me for things I'm not really aware. I don't have any notifications coming in. So that's the risk of you going from one window to the other, where there might not be that smooth of a communication flow between Claude and your other system. So that was a preview of Claude Cowork, where we gave you a few examples and showed you the current capability, and also spoke about what it means in terms of capabilities of AI tools like Claude, and in the future, I'm sure OpenAI, Google will come up with something similar. And especially for non-technical users, where a lot of actions that they can take now on their workflows, on their systems, on files, which they could not earlier, is going to be a game changer potentially. So hope you found the video to be informative and useful. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We would be making a lot more of such tutorials and product videos going forward. And till then, have a nice day. Bye.